Hey, welcome to this latest edition of the Kast. No Jordan J today, sadly.
Nope.
But not sadly for him. He's having a great time.
That boy took a 3-week vacation.
How did he pull that off?
I don't know.
Who does he know in the company?
We've been here longer. We've never had a 3-week vacation.
He can pull off a nearly 3-week vacation. But no, he and his family are having a great time on vacation. So it's myself and Erin here. And today, we just passed Father's Day on Sunday. So we're talking dads. We're going to talk a little bit about our dads or anything dad related for that matter, and maybe share a little bit. Erin, you got something you want to kick off with?
Well, where do you want me to start?
I'm telling you, we get so many great stories from her dad, stuff that he does. Her impression of her dad is that's kind of what she does.
Like Dad's standard line is, "Don't go planning my whole day for me."
What did you do on Father's Day?
We went out to my parents' house. And we were going to have fried chicken because that's what they decided they wanted. Mm-hmm. And so my brother, Johnny, was going to swing through and snag some chicken and come on out. Well, we were supposed to eat at 11 o'clock because, usually it's high noon. Now, these days, Dad wants to eat a little bit earlier, which
sure.
I'm not complaining.
Yeah. Well, you get to bed at 6 o'clock, or you try to, so.
Well, 6 p.m., yeah. So eating lunch at 11 doesn't hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
So my brother called me and said, "Hey, I'm going to come out a little earlier than I thought with the chicken." And I was like, "Well, I'm already here." He goes, "Well, why are you already here?" I go, "Well, because Mom needed some antacids and she called at 7. So I went ahead and got up and, got her some antacids. And I've just been hanging out here ever since." And he's like, "Oh, well, it'll be like 10:30. Is that weird to eat chicken at 10:30? And I'm like,
"Yeah.
Well,
I'm raising my hand for most of us here. Yes, that is weird.
If you already have your heart setting on getting the chicken when they open at 10 o'clock, then I guess no. Yeah. I mean, anytime's a good time for chicken, in our opinion. So, yeah, that's what we did. We ate fried chicken at 10:30. I was sitting in the living room chit-chatting with Mom, kind of waiting for everyone to finish up. And I was going to go in there and make sure everybody got dessert. Well, so I'm sitting and we're talking, and I'm like, gosh, are they not done yet? I go in there. Not only are they done, they've left the table and they've busted into dessert.
Man.
And didn't even tell Mom and I.
They are serious.
They were. Dad already had his piece of cherry pie and also had a cookie cake. So he had a little bit of that. And I mean, he was out the door.
Sounds good, man.
Yeah.
Sounds good. My 3 kids are far flung to a degree. I got a daughter in Kansas City. She just bought a new house. My son is in Columbia. And my middle one is busy with 3 kids. So I didn't actually see any of my kids on Father's Day, but I was fine with that. I heard from all 3 of them, I was going to say happy birthday. Happy Father's Day, Dad, I love you, blah, 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 back and forth and everything. And my daughter, she says, "Hey, I meant to get your gift for you, but it's already in the mail." And I said, "Oh, you don't have to send me something." She goes, No, you're going to like it. All right, well, thanks. I'm sure I'm going to enjoy it, whatever it is. So I have no idea. Maybe it's arriving today. I don't know. But my wife says to me,
"Is it a room for you in her new house?"
She's got this fantastic house.
Sounds
my
cool,
God.
Yeah.
I told her, I said, "I'm officially jealous of your porch." It's that old house from 1910 in Kansas City. And it's just this amazing tree-lined street and residential. But anyway, I digress. So on Father's Day, so after we get back from church, my wife says, "What do you want to do today?" And I go, "I don't know. Nothing really." She goes, and I think she meant in the sense of, do you want to go out to eat somewhere, that kind of thing.
Right.
No.
Or do something a little special.
Right.
Yeah.
She goes, "Nah." She goes, "All right, well, I'm going to make you steak tonight." I said, "Oh, that sounds good. That's always my favorite, Father's Day, birthday thing, whatever. Steak and shrimp. Okay." And I said, "Really? I just want to work on my PS5, my Madden 25 rosters." That's
nerd. Sorry.
This is what I like doing. I'll take the rosters and keep them up to date with the real world teams and yada, yada, yada. Mm-hmm. I never have time. Like, I'm always able, maybe I'll get 10, 15 minutes here and there to do it, but then I have to, real life catches up. So she goes, "Sure, if you want to, go ahead." I go, "Woo, yes." So I'm down to the rec basement. Well, it's our basement. It's the rec room. Down to the rec room where the PS5 is set up. And I'm telling you, I spent maybe 3 hours, maybe more, just sitting there and tweaking with the help of ChatGPT. She was helping me through this and that. And I was really making great progress. And the whole time, Donna says, She goes, I just took a nap. It was great. She took a nap upstairs on the sofa. So it was a happy Father's Day for me. I know a lot of people like Erin would look at that and go, oh my gosh, that sounds so boring. I go, no, man, it was magnificent. When you're able to just sit down and do just what you want with no interruptions, man, it's the best.
Okay, so Dad, he's always like, oh, don't go plan him a whole day. Well, here's the deal. Dad's retired, so every day is what Dale wants to do. Mm-hmm. With the occasional doctor's appointment or dentist or something, thrown in there. But for the most part, the guy gets to do whatever he wants. Mm-hmm. And I've said, Dad, you know what? It's not going to kill you for us to come out and have a meal with you, or he likes to watch boxing, so we'll go out and we'll watch boxing or something like that with them. But yeah, for Father's Day, we had chicken at 10:30 in the morning.
Wow, that's. Well, you're saying there are times where he should bend to what everybody else wants instead of his day. Is that what you're saying?
You know what? It's like we want to spend time with our dad. There's nothing wrong with that. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's for one day a year.
I'm with you,
Dale. Oh, come on now. Hey, you're not retired.
Dad's got to stay together, though. I'm telling you. I miss my dad. Every time Father's Day rolls around, I lost my dad in 91. And I firmly believe I'm going to see him again someday. He's just waiting for me in heaven. But in the meantime, excuse me, I'm not getting choked up from that.
I think you are.
No, I'm really not. I'm telling you, I got phlegm.
Oh.
Well, you wanted to know. So.
Well, you know what? The podcast just took an uncomfortable turn.
A very awkward turn.
Yeah.
No, my dad was, honestly, I think the smartest man I ever knew. He loved reading. I always said, I wish I picked up that chip from him. It's not that I don't like reading. I just don't take the time for it. Other things take their place. He always had a book in front of him. I have pictures and videos of him sitting there in his easy chair with another book open. He just loved reading. He loved knowledge, and he loved sharing that knowledge too.
Oh, well, I picked up that trait from Dad.
You never met my dad, so I don't. But one of the things I loved is that he loved sharing what he knew. And one of the really vivid memories I have is, as a kid, laying on the floor with the newspaper open and the stock market page. And I didn't really know a lot about the stock market, but I was kind of interested. So he would explain to me what stocks are and what the numbers mean, and people buy this and then they own a piece of the company and blah, blah. And I found that fascinating. But he was the one that loved, sharing that kind of information.
Sure.
Whatever it was. So he loved sharing knowledge. And the other thing about my dad was he was the funniest guy in the room. He was always the funniest guy in the room. There was not a person on this planet, I don't think, except my mom maybe sometimes, who didn't love Jack Hilly. Okay. I think she probably said a little Jack goes a long way.
Okay.
But his laugh, everybody liked him, and he was as soon as he walked in a room, man, it just it became a party.
My dad's kind of quiet at first, kind of stoic, but once you get him talking, you can't get him to shut up. I mean, and that's not a bad thing.
Yeah,
but no, and he's a pretty funny guy as well. One thing that Dad taught me, or that I can remember Dad teaching me, was fishing. So I think he really enjoyed fishing, but he never really got to do it a whole lot. He was a sheet metal worker by trade, so he was out on the road quite a bit. And then on the weekends, we had cattle, so he was always out tending to the cattle. And I'm telling you, because we had at that point 120 acres, and the cattle always looked pristine. Like, if you didn't know any better, you'd think, what is he out there brushing them or something? They always looked clean and neat. And, you look at most herds and they don't exactly look like that. And I don't know exactly what his secret was, but they were always a well-maintained herd. And he did that,
He took pride in that.
Yeah, he did that on top of, working crazy hours, a lot of times away from home. And, making sure that we always had enough. But I remember one Christmas, he got me a fishing pole, and he had it all wrapped up, and he thought it was great fun to try to get me to guess what it was. And I was a kid, he was like, hey, Santa brought this early, so what do you think it is? Oh, little kid, I don't know. So,
I know where she got that from then.
Yeah. So I'm like, is it a ski? Like Santa brought me a ski. Because that's what it looked like,
ski,
just one.
Yeah.
He was like, no. I had no idea what it was. So it was a big surprise on Christmas when I opened it. And it was a fishing pole. And we had a lake and a pond on our property, but we would fish out of the lake. And yeah, I mean, when I was barely able to hold the pole myself, much less drag a fish in, he would go and he would cast it. I would sit there. If I got a bite, I would reel it in until, my little 4-year-old arms would get tired or whatever. And then he would haul it in. And there's this picture that I've got, and we're sitting there on the dam, and I'm excited, got my little pigtails. And I'm like, because I got yet another fish. Yeah. And then there's my brother, Johnny, just like not happy at all. Yeah.
And everybody can't be happy all the time, I guess. But
as an adult, I don't fish as much as I did as a kid.
Right.
Because I wish I did have more time for that and it was a little more convenient. But yeah, that was always a lot of fun.
Erin got her gift giving attitude from her father. I guarantee it, because she's like, you want to know what I got you? He's like, I'm not going to tell you. Mm-hmm. Oh, I got to tell somebody. Like that sort of thing. Like when she gives a gift, she's so excited about it.
What are we, like 6 months from Christmas now, roughly?
Yeah.
I already
wants to start dropping hints.
I already know what I'm getting Hilly. I've already showed our buddy Jordan.
So that's what I'm saying.
So
Jordan already
kept
knows.
The secret. Yeah. So, yeah, because I just, hey, you think this is a good idea? Hey, you think he'll like this? Or, I just want to make sure that if you get a gift from me, you're going to enjoy it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Both of our dads are veterans.
Mm-hmm.
My dad served in World War II. He was Air Force. At the time, it was still Army. There was no official Air Force separate branch. So his grave says U.S. Army, even though he served in the Air Force.
Mm-hmm.
He got in before World War II started. He saw that we were going to be entering, the U.S. was going to be entering the war. And so he enlisted in 1939. We didn't enter the war till 1941, but he said, I want to decide where I'm going to be. I don't want to be drafted. I want to decide where I'm going to be. So he chose the Air Force. He was a staff sergeant in North Africa, in Egypt. He was an Air Force mechanic. And the stories and the pictures and just the stuff he told me from World War II, and he always said his time in the Air Force was the happiest time of his life. And he says, I kind of wish I'd stayed in, to tell you the truth, even after he left in 1945. But he said those were great, great days. He was really proud of his Air Force service.
Mm-hmm. My dad went to, he grew up in Mocaine, and I believe it was South Callaway that he went to. He was a really good basketball player. He was probably the tallest one they had. Yeah, they referred to him as Mocaine's only skyscraper. And I think one of my favorite pictures of him is in a high school yearbook. And I think he was either a sophomore or a junior, but he'd forgotten that it was picture day. So he is standing there in his uniform, but if you look closely, he doesn't have his shoes on. He just has socks on.
Because he's still plenty tall.
Because he forgot his shoes, his basketball shoes.
Right.
But he went into Vietnam right after high school. He played basketball. I think Mom said at one point he did have an opportunity for a college scholarship and instead decided to serve his country. And that's what he did. He signed up. He was in the Army. And he was a paratrooper, which was very unusual because my dad's very, very tall. And he kept saying, I want to be a paratrooper. And the Army's like, no, you're too big a target. No. And I'm like, every day he was bugging them. I want to be a paratrooper. I want to be a paratrooper. And finally they just threw a pack at him and they're like, yeah, okay, fine. Get in line. And there's one picture. He took a bunch of pictures when he was in Vietnam and had them. He brought them back and had them converted into slides. So as kids, we would, every once in a while, Dad would decide, okay, we're going to watch a slideshow.
I've seen some of these pictures.
So
they're really great.
Yeah. So we would spend all day trying to find a projector then have to find the right bulb for the projector. It wasn't as easy as just ordering on Amazon like it is these days.
Right.
And then setting up a screen. And if we couldn't find a screen, then a white bed sheet so we could project the images on there. And there's one of like him and his, paratrooping squadron. So it's all these guys and then my dad. He's like the really tall one in the middle. Yeah. So, he did that. And I remember as kids, we'd be like, Dad, so you jumped out of planes? And he'd be like, yeah. And we're like, what are clouds like? They're fluffy, they're bouncy.
That's actually the thing you think about before you fly. Like, what is it like to fly above a cloud? If you've never seen the experience, it's amazing.
As kids, that's not what we were curious about. We thought, because thanks to cartoons, clouds were bouncy.
You got to bounce off.
Something you're gonna,
right.
And he's like, no, dummy. He's like, you.
No, dummy. Was your dad Greg Fox? No, dummy.
Sometimes, yeah. No, he goes, you'd go through the clouds and, it was misty and they were much cooler. And, so that was things as kids. We were like, what? And then another time he was talking about when he was coming home from Vietnam and made a stop at Memphis to see Elvis, Elvis's house. So as kids, we're all like, wow, what was his house like, Dad? And Dad's like, I don't know. He still lived there. I just looked through the gates.
I was just going to knock on his door.
Yeah. He goes,
hey, my kids are going to want to know what this is like. Can I walk through your house a little bit?
He's like, I just looked through the gates. But, in our mind, because, we grew up, you went to tour Elvis's house.
There's a really tall guy outside my house right now.
Yeah, we didn't realize that, at one point, Elvis actually did live there.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
My folks divorced when I was 13 years old. My dad had a lifelong battle with booze, and except for brief moments in his life, but it was a constant demon. And he and my mom divorced when I was 13. But it's funny, and the thing is, they loved each other even with everything. Mm-hmm. They loved each other right up to the end. Even there was it was a classic example of, I love you, but I can't live with you.
Right.
Sort of thing. But they always depended on each other. My dad depended on my mom depended on my dad. If there was ever a problem, she called Jack immediately. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That sort of thing. And we were always allowed to see my dad. There was never, no, I don't want him over here.
Right.
He came over, he slept over oftentimes, over our house. The holidays were always included. There was never keeping us from Dad because I'm angry at him or whatever, And right up until the day he died, my mom loved him, and then we lost her in 2010. But it was at 13. Honestly, when they got divorced, because there was so much fighting all the time, mm-hmm. it actually made things better. Because you know what I mean, like the relationship between them was better. Yeah. After that, and there was peace in our house too. Mm-hmm. So. It was an odd thing. That's kind of, my brother and sister would probably say the same thing about it, Mm-hmm. And we're all like 13 months apart. So,
well, my dad, being a sheet metal worker, he built the home that we lived in Holt Summit, and then the home that my parents are now in New Bloomfield. But it's not just your typical home; they're log homes, and we didn't. Like go buy logs from somewhere. We went and cut them.
Chop a tree down, right?
on our land. Yeah. You had to let them season for so long, so lift them up off the ground, make the bark easier to peel off.
There's a whole science to that, isn't it?
How he knew how to do all this, I have no idea. But we were old enough during the second one to really help out. And I just remember he'd take a pencil, look at a 2x4, and he'd be like, all right, today we're going to, and he'd just draw it out. All right, let's go. And we're like, what? We got to do what now? Yeah. He could just envision it.
It's amazing.
He didn't need big fancy blueprints or any of that.
If you got it, you got it, man.
Yeah. And we're talking very sturdy homes. It's fantastic. And you can definitely tell that he loved what he did when he built it, on both of them.
Yeah. Anybody that knows me knows what a nerd I am, and I proudly can say I'm sure I got that from my dad. He was a computer programmer back in the early days of computers. Back in the days, remember, with the walls, covering the walls, those type of computers?
Sure.
That's what he had at his work. He used to go there. He knew all the computer languages, COBOL and BASIC and Fortran. He was at the forefront of all those when computers were just really coming to the forefront. And we used to go to work with him from time to time. My brother and sister, mostly my brother and I. My sister wasn't too interested in it, but my brother and I used to go to work with him. And we had these plastic templates that they used to use for programming language, and you could trace it. And I don't know how it was used. I mean, he understood that part, but he used to bring those home with us from time to time. So we would draw with them and make shapes and everything like that. But his work was so interesting to us. And again, you would look at it now and think, oh, how primitive. But at the time, it was the beginning of the computer revolution. He always loved, it would blow my dad's mind now if he could see where we are with personal computers and phones.
I was going to say, what would he think of a cell phone?
Oh, for God, he wouldn't believe it. He would think he was in the 22nd century or something. Because what we're carrying in our pockets and our purses now is beyond the computing power of what he used to work with.
Yeah. No, that's wild, when you put it in that kind of perspective.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about dads. It is kind of our post-Father's Day edition. Kevin Hilly and Erin Hart. No Jordan J today. He's on vacation.
He's out in Montana somewhere.
Yeah, I guarantee you he would have liked to have joined this conversation because he's got stories about his dad, too. So maybe one of these days we'll squeeze those in. But
that's right, Jordan's dad. We know all about
you. We've heard some things about you, sir. Sir. Okay. But we'll leave that to Jordan to tell.
That's right.
So, but if you got a story about your dad, or if you are a dad, you want to share some of your own experiences. I love being a dad, even though my kids are all grown up now. They're all in their 30s. And I have grandsons now, obviously, which I talk about a lot. But my kids, all three of them, are just great. And even having grown up with me as a father, they're still normal, which is amazing. So, and I can embarrass every single one of them. Mostly my daughters. My son doesn't embarrass too easily. He's too cool for school sometimes. But I used to like it when the girls would have their friends over and they're all like in the family room sitting there. And then my wife and I, we had a plan. Suddenly we would just come out dancing like in front of them into the next room. And my daughter would be, oh my God, Mom. And their friends are like, they thought it was great. So that's the kind of stuff you can do when you're a parent, and it was fun.
Oh, I mean, when I had friends over and stuff, I mean, Dad didn't care who was in the house.
Yeah.
If he was going to get comfortable, he was going to get comfortable.
Exactly.
Even if it made the rest of us uncomfortable, he. So you've seen those little terry cloth skirts,
right? Oh yeah, right? Yeah.
Okay, so my. If you knew my dad, you'd
leaves
be like,
not a lot to the imagination.
You'd be like, well, that didn't picture Dale being a fan of those, but yeah, he'd take a shower, he'd come up up the stairs in his terry cloth skirt, and he would sit in his chair with a giant bowl of popcorn, and if he'd hear me come through, he'd be, what are you doing, Zeb? And I'm playing with my friend. My friend's over. She's gonna stay over. Well, which one is it? And so then you have to bring your friend out. He'd be like, which one are you?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
He'd always have to, which one are you?
We're all like that. I'm telling you, our house was always the one where all the friends were coming over. I can't tell you how many times I walk in my house and there's some kid I have no idea who it is in my refrigerator. Yeah. And the thing is, my wife could separate them. She knew who they were. I honestly did. Like, Nicole would say, oh, so-and-so's coming over. Who's that? Dad, you know her. You've met her 100 times. Is she like the blonde one? I don't know. Yeah. I don't, because they all look the same to me, to tell you the truth. So my wife always knew who they were, one from the other.
Hey, up until like 4 years ago, Dad thought I was still like 25.
See?
Wait, no clue what my age was.
You're not?
Not even close.
Share a dad story with us if you'd like. You can just leave a comment here, whether you're watching or listening. Find a comment section and subscribe. Let us know that you're watching or listening. We'd sure appreciate it. And we appreciate you joining us for this latest edition of the Kast.